Man, tell me how things are different from you as a coach's perspective in Springfield, Missouri.
How things are different from me? Well, they're different because I am not able to coach. So that's a big difference. So I went from being basically a baseball pitching instructor where 4 hours a night I was in person working with kids to I have one kid who I can go over to his house because he has a home mound. So we do about one training session a week, and that's about it. So it's been tough from a coaching side of things because I really cannot do much.
Yeah. So do whose parents care at all? Or are they just like, hey, social distancing out the window, we need our kid to get better?
Maybe a little bit of both, but the deal is when I go over there, we're still able to social distance. I'm going to catch him most of the time. So we're standing 50 feet apart from each other.
So it doesn't matter.
There's probably a little bit of an element that they don't care either, but it's not like we have to be right there. We're still able to maintain that social distance, even though I'm over there.
Yeah, I got a couple guys that I work with in the hockey space that they're trainers as well. That's like their career. That's what they do. Yeah. And they are struggling because they can't do anything because they're all like super hands-on, like right here, face-to-face, like next to you. And so they can't do anything. So they're trying to like figure out ways and people they can talk to and like get with and clients that actually want to still do stuff out with the elements the way they are. And but they're like, I can't social distance and like keep him like doing the things that he should be doing. So
I think my thing is I believe I could keep doing it and social distance, but all the facilities that I would use to do it, because a lot of my training is indoors, have shut down. So that's more the problem. So if we hopefully after this 30-day, at least here in Springfield, we have this 30-day lockdown, which is ending here in the end of April. I don't know if they're going to lift that or not, but even if it goes back to the rules of no more than 10 people in one space, I was still able to work because some of the facilities were open. So it could just be 5 trainers and 5 kids. So really, selfishly, that's what needs to happen for me is just they lift those regulations a little bit. So some of these facilities and places that I can teach at will open back up.
Yeah, so I'm sure this is probably the same for you being the same kind of avenue, but those hockey guys that I was talking about before, I asked them, like, well, can you do stuff like on Zoom, like where they just set up a camera and like do it? And they were like, no. They were like, you cannot give instruction the way you need to give instruction, like do things the way that need to be done for a client paying me like that virtually. Yeah, that's what I figured.
I know some people that do online stuff. In my mind, though, what I'm hoping is that, like I kind of said, that the worst of this is over in a month or two, and I can kind of survive that and go back to business as usual somewhat. Probably not completely like it was.
Yeah.
Because I think by the time I actually got some sort of system that was kind of, virtual pitching lessons set up and running, I'll say it'd be over, but I could go back to doing in-person stuff.
Yeah.
That would be kind of a whole different avenue if I wanted to kind of take my business virtual to expand, outside of Springfield, Missouri, which is possible, I guess. But
yeah. Have you thought about doing any of that stuff? Like once all the coronavirus stuff is over with, like adding that as another element to your business, or you just want to keep it like face to face?
I've thought about it. I really enjoy the big part of like my pitching lessons is the face-to-face interacting, knowing these kids. I think if I went virtual with something, it would be actually right now I'm working through this nutrition certification program. So doing something that was a little broader than baseball, whether that's personal training, nutrition, coaching, whatnot, but not necessarily baseball. Because I like the face-to-face interaction with my little kiddos.
Yeah. So what about you personally? I know you're a fitness guy. So what's the difference been for you? I know there's no gyms available. So
the difference for me has been, I feel like I went from working Monday through Friday, most days, 7:30 to 9 o'clock most nights, and having a little break in there, probably an hour and a half where I could go to the gym and work out, but not really any personal time for me to work on myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now I've been given unlimited time. So I'm almost doing the exact opposite that I was doing. really have tried to kind of experiment with some new, I don't want to say ideas, but just I'm not able to go to the gym, so I don't have access to as much weights as I did. So messing around with different body weight movements, and I do have I have a couple of dumbbells and kettlebells here, so I'm able to do probably more than just the average at-home person. But playing around with new movements, new workout strategies, different philosophies, and just having fun with it. And I'd say the same about my nutrition too. I've been able to cook all my own meals and not meal prep everything.
Yeah.
So that's been a lot of fun. My food tastes better, and just playing around with different, I guess, macronutrient profiles, whatever. I don't really count my macros, but doing more carbs than I was doing and seeing how I feel. So I've just had a lot of fun kind of experimenting with different stuff and seeing how it affects me.
Nice. So I want you to touch on your nutrition philosophy, not Ben Greenfield's philosophy.
So my nutrition philosophy, I guess, first of all, would be that even though I joke around and probably am a little dogmatic with some stuff, I don't believe there is like one philosophy that should fit everybody.
Yeah.
But for me personally, over probably the last 2 or 3 years, honestly, once my baseball career ended, as you know, I've been pretty low carb. I've kind of gone in and out of the whole keto thing. I messed around with even like the carnivore, which is just an extreme all animal products diet. And have honestly, for the most part, stuck with that kind of keto carnivore type idea for 2 to 3 years, going kind of in and out of it. But over this quarantine, I've started to mix in more fruits, more vegetables. And honestly, at night, my dinners are consistently more higher carb with rice and beans, or even little stuff like adding barbecue sauce to my meat, which I wouldn't have done before, just to make it taste better and enjoy it. So I would say I've been a little more higher carb. I don't know, compared to probably the general population, I wouldn't consider myself high carb, but allowing myself to eat way more, even stuff like fruit, than I probably ever have in the last 3 years.
Yeah. I know personally you're not a vegetable guy, so to hear you talk about vegetables is really just warmed my soul.
I wouldn't say I'm not a vegetable guy. I've never been. There are people out there that claim that they actually are potentially harmful for you. I would say I'm more just, I do believe that if you're eating a well-rounded animal products diet, you can get all the micronutrients and nutrients that you need from animal products. But it's been kind of fun to mix them back in and see how I feel and whatnot. And honestly, I've felt really good. I've really liked how I felt the last 2 or 3 weeks.
So, okay. So being animal, what do you get from Chipotle?
What do I get from Chipotle?
Yeah. Walk me through the process of ordering in Blake McKnight's eyes.
So first, if I'm going to eat out somewhere, I'm not going to say I'm not careful what I'm eating, but to me, that's like I'm treating myself in a way. So I'm not going to just go to Chipotle and just say, hey, just give me steak and nothing else because all I eat is animal products.
Yeah.
I get rice. Usually I get white rice because I just think it tastes better. And I don't think there's a massive difference white to brown rice. I'll do the beans. I'll do half and half, black and pinto. Frankly, I couldn't tell you the difference between the two. I don't even know if I really taste them in the bowl, but I'll usually go half and half just because I don't know. It's fun. I'll usually do a steak bowl. I'll mix it up with the different salsas, sometimes either the mild or the medium, sometimes a combination of the two. And then cheese, guac, sour cream, and lettuce. Put it all on there. Give me the fixins. And then maybe a soda. Like I said, if I'm eating out, sometimes I'll splurge, but
Treat yourself.
Try to avoid the soda. But I would say for the most part with my nutrition, a big part of it is not eating out too much because I know if I do go eat out, I'm going to want it to taste good and I'm not going to stick to as rigid guidelines, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Because to me, if you're going to go to Chipotle and be real picky about what you're getting, it just can be a little bland. Not just Chipotle, but any place. So I'm going to make it taste good. And it's still relatively healthy in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. You ever tried Freitas?
The what?
Freitas. It's the soy-based meat product at.
Yeah. No thanks.
Oh, dude, you gotta try it, man. It's good.
No. Yeah, but why? I'm not saying it doesn't taste good. All these like soy-based, whatever,
Yeah, why not just eat real meat?
but not just eat the real meat because I think it's more nutritious, and I am not a
Yeah,
fan, of these other products.
yeah,
Just eat the meat. I don't think meat's bad for you,
yeah,
so I have no reason to.
yeah. Right. Well, I mean, you know quite a bit more about nutrition than I do, honestly. So I tend to trust you a little
Maybe.
bit, or maybe not necessarily trust you, but maybe trust Ben Greenfield.
There you go.
Okay, cool. So, what are you doing with this nutrition cert? What are you gonna do with that?
That's the $1 million question. I'm not sure. I started it. It's a precision nutrition, kind of the better regarded nutrition certs. I found myself for a while like really wanting to pay attention to nutrition and studying different stuff, but I would just kind of go down these different rabbit holes, if you will, but I wasn't really working towards anything.
Yeah.
So it was actually last year when I purchased the certification because I was like, I need to be working towards something, like having a goal. So I'd say my immediate goal is just finishing it. If nothing else, I have the certification kind of behind my name.
Yeah.
I love the idea of building, whether it's an in-person or an online business where I'm nutrition coaching.
Yeah.
I don't have immediate plans to implement that though. But if nothing else, even with my little athletes that I'm working with the baseball, we tend to talk about nutrition. So now I have, that certification behind my name. It's
Yeah.
just going to boost my credentials, if nothing else. And I've already learned so much from it.
Yeah.
And just half the book is all about coaching philosophies and stuff like that. So some stuff that I'm not even super familiar with.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, cool, man. Well, all right. I think I've picked your brain enough on your nutrition. Hey, I saw some